Iran's historical and current military engagements are predominantly with other Muslim-majority nations or states, rather than with non-Muslim countries. It has either sought out or engaged in conflicts primarily within the Islamic world. Iran's primary adversaries in the region are not Israel, often symbolized by the Jews, but rather the Turks and Arabs. Therefore, its geopolitical and strategic concerns are more directly influenced by its relations and competition with neighboring Turkish and Arab states, rather than its enmity with Israel. Its military strategy and geopolitical ambitions have historically been focused on the Muslim world, often in the context of sectarian divides, such as the Sunni-Shia split. Iran, a predominantly Shia Muslim country, has been known to support Shia groups and governments in various countries, leading to tensions and conflicts, particularly with Sunni-majority states and groups. The rivalry, for example, between Iran and Turkey has a long history. The Ottomans aimed to expand into Europe, while Persia often acted as a counterweight. At times, Persia aligned with European powers or attacked the Turks while they were on military missions in the West to prevent Ottoman dominance. This rivalry stemmed from both political ambitions and religious differences, with the Sunni Ottomans and the Shia Safavid dynasty in Persia often in conflict. Iran's strategic position and alliances sometimes disrupted Ottoman expansion, leading to long-standing tension between the two empires. This historical rivalry persists in various forms. In conflicts like Syria, Iraq, and the South Caucasus, Iran and Turkey have pursued differing, sometimes conflicting agendas. For example, while Iran has supported the Assad regime in Syria, Turkey has backed various opposition groups. In the South Caucasus, Iran views Turkey's growing influence, especially in Azerbaijan, with suspicion. Both countries seek to exert influence over ethnic and sectarian groups within and beyond their borders. Turkey's support for Sunni groups and its cultural and political ties with Turkic-speaking populations often clash with Iran's efforts to support Shia communities and other aligned groups. Both nations view themselves as inheritors of significant historical and cultural legacies, influencing their perceptions of regional dominance. In the modern era, the rivalry between Iran and Turkey has evolved but remains intense. This contemporary competition is marked by a mix of geopolitical maneuvers, economic interests, and ideological battles. While both nations share a complex history, their current agendas are shaped by regional conflicts, energy politics, and the quest for influence in the Middle East and beyond. Iran's strategic ambitions are evident in its interventions in countries such as Syria, Yemen, and Iraq, where it seeks to expand its influence through support for Shia militias and allied governments. This aligns with its broader goal of creating a Shia crescent stretching from Tehran to the Mediterranean. In contrast, Turkey has pursued a foreign policy aimed at reasserting its influence over the Caucasus, Central Asia, and former Ottoman territories by supporting Sunni causes. Both countries seek to exert influence over ethnic and sectarian groups within and beyond their borders. Turkey's support for Sunni groups and its cultural and political ties with Turkic-speaking populations often clash with Iran's efforts to support Shia communities and other aligned groups. In other words, Iran promotes its revolutionary ideology and Shia Islam, while Turkey leverages its Ottoman heritage and Sunni Islam to garner support across the Muslim world. This ideological battle extends to soft power initiatives such as media outlets, educational institutions, and religious organizations, each seeking to shape the narrative and win hearts and minds. Despite their rivalry, Iran and Turkey occasionally find common ground. Both oppose Kurdish independence movements, fearing the impact on their territorial integrity. However, these shared interests are often overshadowed by their broader strategic competition. As the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East continues to shift, the rivalry between Iran and Turkey remains a defining feature. Understanding this modern-day competition is essential to grasping the complexities of regional politics and the intricate dance of power, influence, and ideology that shapes the Middle East today. To understand this rivalry better, it's crucial to explore the roots of the Sunni-Shia divide. This centuries-long schism within Islam plays a significant role in shaping Iran's foreign policy. This religious difference influences Iran's relations with other Muslim-majority nations, particularly those with Sunni populations. Understanding the historical roots of this divide is essential to comprehending Iran's regional actions. This historical context is crucial to understanding the present. The division originated in the early days of Islam following the death of Prophet Muhammad. Disagreements over his rightful successor led to the emergence of two distinct branches of Islam, Sunni and Shia. These two branches have followed different theological and political paths. Over time, this theological difference has evolved into a complex socio-political reality. The Shia branch, to which Iran predominantly adheres, emphasizes the importance of the Prophet's family lineage in leadership. This belief distinguishes them from the Sunni branch, which emphasizes community consensus in selecting leaders. This fundamental difference in religious interpretation has shaped the political landscape of the Muslim world for centuries. It continues to shape political realities today. The historical persecution of Shia communities in various parts of the Muslim world has also contributed to Iran's sense of vulnerability and its desire to protect Shia populations elsewhere. Furthermore, the complex dynamics in neighboring countries like Azerbaijan, Iraqi Kurdistan, Turkmenistan, Pakistan, and Afghanistan add to Iran's security calculus. For instance, tensions between Azerbaijan and Iran stem from a mix of ethnic, political, and religious factors. Iran is wary of Azerbaijan's nationalist sentiments that resonate with Iran's Azerbaijani minority. Periodic flare-ups over border security, the treatment of ethnic minorities, and Azerbaijan's cooperation with Western powers contribute to the heightened probability of conflict. Due to Iran's significant influence in Iraq, including in the Kurdish region, conflicts could arise due to disputes over autonomy, territorial control, and Iran's attempts to counter Kurdish independence movements, which Tehran views as a threat to its own territorial integrity due to its Kurdish minority. Though relatively peaceful, tensions between Iran and Turkmenistan have occasionally surfaced over energy resources, border disputes, and ethnic issues. These lingering issues could contribute to potential conflicts. Iran and Pakistan have, on the other hand, a complex relationship marked by periods of cooperation and tension. Issues like cross-border militancy, the treatment of the Shia minority in Pakistan, and differing alliances, for example Pakistan's close ties with Saudi Arabia, contribute to the risk of conflict. Border security and sectarian violence further strain their relationship. Concerning Afghanistan, Iran has a vested interest in this country. Potential conflicts could arise from border security issues, refugee flows, water rights, and Iran's support for various factions within Afghanistan. The volatile nature of Afghanistan's internal politics can also inadvertently lead to tensions with Iran. As mentioned earlier, one of the key elements of Iran's complex relationships with Arab states is the Sunni-Shia divide. Iran, as the largest Shia-majority country, has often been in ideological and sometimes physical conflict with Sunni-majority Arab states, particularly Iraq in the past and Saudi Arabia today. This rivalry has played out in several proxy conflicts, such as in Yemen, Syria, and Iraq. Iran's support for Shia communities in various Arab states, including Bahrain, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia, is seen by these governments as interference in their internal affairs. Iran's involvement in regional conflicts through proxy groups is a central aspect of its foreign policy. This strategy allows Iran to project power and influence beyond its borders, while minimizing the risk of direct military confrontation. The use of proxies also provides a degree of deniability, making it more difficult to attribute actions directly to Iran. This strategy is complex and multifaceted. One prominent example of Iran's proxy warfare is its support for the Houthi rebels in Yemen. The Houthis, a Shia group, have been engaged in a protracted conflict against the Yemeni government, which is backed by a Saudi-led coalition. Iran's support for the Houthis has exacerbated the conflict and contributed to the humanitarian crisis in Yemen. This involvement has significant regional consequences. In Iraq, Iran supports various Shia militias, which have played a significant role in the fight against ISIS. These militias, however, also pose a challenge to the Iraqi government's authority and contribute to sectarian tensions within the country. Iran's influence in Iraq is a complex issue with both positive and negative implications. Similarly, Iran's support for Hezbollah in Lebanon has been a long-standing element of its regional strategy. Hezbollah, a Shia political party and militant group, is a powerful force in Lebanese politics and a key ally of Iran in the region. This alliance has further fueled regional tensions, particularly with Israel. On the other hand, the conflict between Iran and Israel is performative, with each side posturing to maintain influence. Despite the frequent rhetoric, regional power struggles, and occasional proxy clashes, both Israel and Iran are engaged in a strategic game rather than a path toward an inevitable war. While there may be incidents of aggression, such as airstrikes, covert operations, or retaliatory attacks, these are calculated moves meant to achieve specific objectives rather than steps toward a large-scale confrontation. They reinforce their respective strategic positions by keeping the conflict rhetorical and indirect. Despite their public hostility and aggressive rhetoric, both countries have maintained a mutually beneficial strategy of confrontation without direct military engagement. The saying, "they always bark but don't bite," illustrates that the threats and provocations exchanged between Iran and Israel are more about strategic posturing than a sign of imminent conflict. For both Iran and Israel, the ongoing hostility provides a convenient means to unify their populations and rally support around national security narratives. In Iran, portraying Israel as a major adversary supports the regime's narrative of resisting Western and Zionist influence. In Israel, emphasizing the threat from Iran serves to underscore the need for strong defense policies and regional vigilance. Their seeming antagonistic relationship allows both Iran and Israel to project power and influence in the region. Iran's opposition to Israel bolsters its leadership claim within parts of the Muslim world, particularly among Shia communities and groups opposed to Western influence. Conversely, Israel leverages the Iranian threat to strengthen ties with other Middle Eastern countries and garner support from the United States and other Western allies. Both countries benefit from the international dynamics surrounding their so-called rivalry. For Iran, the conflict with Israel helps deflect attention from internal issues and justifies its regional military activities. For Israel, the perceived Iranian threat helps maintain its strategic alliances, particularly with the United States and some Gulf countries, ensuring continued military and economic support. In short, the likelihood of Iran engaging in a military conflict with its neighboring Muslim countries is considerably higher than the chance of a war between Iran and Israel. The story will continue. Please consider subscribing to our channel if you find this content useful. Thank you for watching and for your support by subscribing.